video tutorial we'll show you how to use the while loop in a Python program and to look over conditions which evaluate true or false. In this video we're introducing the while loop by showing you some programs which we can improve by making them loop and repeat based on a condition. Earlier we looked at the for loop, and for the for loop you need to know the number of times it's going to repeat for. For a while loop you need to set a condition. I've got a program here and it's called bored, and it has a variable called are you bored, and then an input statement saying are you bored yet, and the users are asked to say y or n whether they're bored or not. So if we run this and type bored, it says are you bored yet? No matter what you say, it exits. Now what we want to do is to improve this program with a while loop that repeats are you bored yet until the user enters y, yes I'm bored. If they say no, it'll ask them again. So we're going to edit this program and call it while bored. Remember, you put the colon after the function name. So we'll use the same line we've got here. So we're going to use a while. So while, I've got a variable are you bored. So while are you bored is no, not bored. We want to repeat this. Now that's all you need to do with a while loop, is to put in a condition that evaluates to true or false, and then whatever's inside this loop will repeat while that condition is true. So while this condition is still n, it will repeat are you bored yet. Now we have one more thing we need to do, which is we need to set the value of are you bored to start with, because the first time it's met it won't know what the value of are you bored is. So let's set it to n to start with, and then if we run this program, and we'll say while bored, it was called, are you bored yet? So if I say no, it'll go round again. If I keep entering n, it's going to keep going round, but if I enter anything other than n, it's going to come out. So that's our first example of a while loop. So while is the key word, and then a condition that evaluates to true or false. Let's think of another example. Here's one I prepared earlier. Def main, print hello world. This is where we started our program. Now we might want to repeat hello world several times, and we know how to do that with a for loop, but here's how to do it with a while loop. So we might want to print hello world 10 times. So we'll have a counter. So let's set our counter to 0. And every time we repeat by printing hello world, we're going to add 1 to the counter. So we'll do that after we're going to say counter equals counter plus 1. It'll add 1 to the counter. We want to repeat that 10 times. So if we say while counter is less than 10, and then we need to make sure that this is indented, the format menu is very useful for this, is indented inside. So it now reads, we set our counter to 0. While the counter is less than 10, it's going to print hello world. Then it'll add 1 to the counter. It'll go back again. It'll check if the counter is less than 10 again, and it'll repeat that until it's reached 10 times. We could have another print statement for when we come out. We could write end of program. Now if you look at the indentation, you'll see that when you come out of this loop, you go back to the line that lines up with the while. So we'll run that one and check that that works. That was called main. And we've got 1 through 5, we've got 10 hello worlds, and then it says end of program. So that's what we'd have expected to do. So you can see that the while loop is similar to the if statement in that it has a condition after it evaluating to true or false. For our final example, we're going to prove another program that you did as one of the exercises on the if page. Now in this program, the user is asked to enter a number between 1 and 20. If the number is bigger than 20, the number is too high. If the number is less than 1, that number is too low. Otherwise, so thank you for the number. Now when you do this, run this program, instinctively you want them to ask again. If the number is too high, you want to say try again. If it's too low, you want to try again. So let's add a while loop to this. So all we need to do is set our initial number value. We need to initialize number. Let's set it to something that it isn't okay. Set it to 0. That's not between 1 and 20. And while the number's not okay, we're going to repeat everything. So we can say while the number is either greater than 20 or the number is less than 1, put a colon in to start the block, and then we'll need to indent what we've got here inside. So now we've got our while statement here, which this time is, I've got a compound Boolean expression. It's got two parts to it linked with an OR. And inside we've got our original program, so that's asking to enter a number, and we'll try and see if that now works. That was called number input. So please enter a number between 1 and 20. I'll put in something that's going to be wrong. Let's put in -7. Number is too low. Number 24, that number is too high. And keep going. And if I put something in that's inside, it should say thank you. So here you've got 3 examples of programs that use a while loop to repeat while a condition is still true. In summary, you've learned following these examples how to use a while loop. Remember that the while loop contains a condition that must evaluate true or false, and this is different to the for loop, which repeats a given number of times.